Hey guys, it's me, Ginell Cooper. I'm back. Today we're gonna make this really cute hat. I'm making them for everybody in the family. First, a quick update. So I have not uploaded a full-length video since November of last year. Everything else has been little clips and little things just to kind of keep the channel going because I didn't know what I wanted to do with it. But my husband and I, last year, we sold our house finally, and we moved across the country. And then once we moved here, we hadn't sold our business in Oregon yet. So we had to fly back and forth between Oregon and Tennessee for like 6 months. And then we finally sold our business and now we are officially retired. So as soon as we retired, we came back to Tennessee, we kind of wrapped everything up, and then we went and traveled for 3 months in Asia. So through all of that, I've been trying to kind of keep in touch with everybody on my Facebook group. We've started uploading channels to our travel channel, which is Cooper Life Outside. If anybody wants to see what we were doing in Indonesia and Thailand for the last 3 months or so. And then I got homesick, and then we came back in November just in time for Thanksgiving and spent Thanksgiving with the family. We're spending Christmas with the family. We're wrapping up the new year with all of our tax stuff and everything for the business, and then we're heading back out in February to Portugal. So if you want to keep up to date on all that stuff, go check out on Instagram, Cooper Life Outside, also our YouTube channel. I've just started kind of uploading videos to there because it's been a lot of videos, but you can keep in touch there, or you can keep in touch with me on the Facebook group, which I'm considering changing the name, but right now it's still Ginell's Quarantine Crochet. Seems very 2020, but everybody knows that name, so I don't feel like I should change it. But anyway, so Ginell's Quarantine Crochet, it's on Facebook as a group, and I try to keep everybody updated there on what I'm doing. But now I feel like I can start to make videos again, and I can maybe learn how to make them while we're traveling and get them uploaded. So we're gonna give it a shot. For Christmas, I'm making everybody in the family one of these hats, and it's kind of the same concept as the 1 Hour Beanie. It's just we're adding a special stitch in there, and we're doing it all together and then just pulling it together at the top. It's a very, very simple project, and it's a lot of fun. As you can see, I don't usually make multiples of things, and this has been super fun for me. So what we did on this was my first one. This was done with the Caron Simply Soft in this kind of charcoal. I think I got rid of the rest of it because it was a little bit, but this one was very thin for some reason. On the Caron Simply Soft, sometimes the yarn is thicker and thinner, and so this one was very thin. But then I went to Caron Simply Soft in the gold, and look at how much thicker that is. So what it is it's 2 strands together because the Simply Soft is kind of thin. So the gold turned, I believe the gold and the white, both the same problem, but still awesome. These are going to be the women's hats. So this one was originally going to be for me, and this one for my daughter, because it goes with my this is my old scarf that I did in the twisted neck wrap, but this matches my new coat that's going to Portugal. So I wanted something to go with that, and I think the gold would look really good. But now I think I've changed my mind, and the gold is going to go to my daughter's best friend. The black is going to, or it's kind of a charcoal, is going to her boyfriend. My son, I think, is getting the gray, and my daughter's getting the white. This I did with a different yarn. So this is, these are all Caron Simply Soft. This is the Yarn Bee version of Caron Simply Soft, which is Soft Secret in the color Smoke. It's a little shinier, and it's just as soft, so it kind of ended up being sort of in between the small one and the larger ones, or the puffier ones. They're all the same size, but these ones have thicker stitches on them. And then now we're gonna do something completely different. And I got this yarn because my husband wants one in Tennessee Vol color, and the only one I could find it in was Big Twist Living, and it is the color orange. So original. So I'm gonna go ahead and make one of that, and I think I'm just gonna do a single strand on this one. These were all double strand. I think this is gonna be single because the yarn is thicker. They're all size 4 mediums, so I don't know why they vary so much, but anyway, so we're gonna try it with the orange, and then I think I might make one. This is the one I'm considering making for myself because it goes with my neck wrap a little better, except that my son's except my son's favorite color is purple, so he and I may go back and forth on the gray and the purple. Either one's gonna work, right? So, and I'll show you a picture of my new Portugal jacket for, we're going on a pilgrimage walk, one of them in Portugal, and that starts in March, I think. And so we tried to get some clothes that were gonna keep us warm, but also be cool at the same time. So that's what that's for. So anyway, and this is back to the Caron Simply Soft. So let's go ahead and get started with this one. I'm using a 5.5 millimeter hook because I was double stranded on these, but I kind of started on this one to see if I'd like it, and I think it's gonna be fine. These, you're gonna need scissors, obviously, you're gonna need a needle, and then you're probably gonna need, you're gonna need a measuring tape too. So I am kind of making them all about the same size, men's and women's. These are unisex, as you can tell, because, you know, I'm giving them to everybody. But they all kind of end up to be about, let's see, with the curve, they're about 11 by 18, mostly. Yeah, they're about 11 by 18. So that's kind of the size you want to go off of. But if you're going for somebody smaller, you can obviously size it down very easily just by add. So like on this one, this has 10 stitches here. This one only has 8. This one has 10 because the stitches are smaller. I did 7 bobbles, I think, on all of them. But then I made this part either shorter or longer depending on how big I wanted the hat to be. So that's how I kind of got them all to work together. You can absolutely change it around to make it be whatever size you want. If this is for a little kid, maybe you could do like 6 stitches here, maybe 4 bobbles, and then, like, you know what I mean? So you can totally decide. I made it up as I went along, so there's no written pattern for this, so we'll see. So you can kind of make it up as you go along as well. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Unfortunately, I had to put this in a ball. I would like to say a great big thank you to Caron Simply Soft, who makes pulling the yarn from the center so easy, as opposed to the, what is this, the big twist, which I literally could not find the center of the yarn until I wrapped the whole thing and got to the bottom. So stop hiding the center, guys. Just make life easier for all of us. Okay, so I'm gonna let this roll around in a bowl. Let me go get a bowl real quick, and then we'll get started. Still using my Dollar Tree bins for everything. So this is just gonna roll around in here on the floor. Okay, so you're gonna start with, you're just gonna chain 36 stitches. And what that is 10, that's if you're doing 10 stitches here, and then 7 groupings here, and then 5 stitches up here. And sometimes I count that last one, because this is 21 plus 10, so that's 31 plus 5, so that's 36. So 36 chains to get started. I may have to adjust it depending on the size of this yarn and if it's going to be comparable to the size of these hats too. And then at the end, I'll show you how they look. They're so cute. You can wear them slouchy, or you can roll up this and make it more of a tight beanie, depending on how you like to wear them, which is why they're great for unisex. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Continue on, and I will see you when I'm done. Okay, so now that you have 36, you might want to kind of measure it. It's not going to be for sure the right size, because you never really know until you get to the second row when it kind of gets all spread out. But that's about 11. So I think that's going to work. And then I kind of size it up to the hat too, just to kind of see if it's about the same, and it's pretty close. So it's gonna, I can never tell if it's gonna shrink up or if it's gonna stretch out with the next row, so we'll wait and see. So go ahead and chain up 1. And then you're going to skip that one, and you're going to go ahead and single crochet into each one of these stitches all the way across. We're going to do back rows on most of them, but not on this row. So just single crochet. Sorry, it's been a while since I've filmed myself doing this. I did a little bit while we were on our trip so that I could kind of just keep some stuff going for you guys, because I didn't want you to forget about me or forget about each other. But it was difficult. So we'll see if I can overcome it while we're on the road here soon. feel like being retired, this channel is going to be a lot of fun for me if I can just figure out how to do it alongside all my other stuff that I'm doing. Some people retire and then they're bored. I have not had that happen yet. If you're wondering about these hooks, I have no idea what the name brand is on them. I bought them in Indonesia when I thought my other hooks had, I have a whole post about it on Facebook, but when I thought my other hooks had vanished because my favorite little bag disappeared, turned out my favorite little bag just ended up in with my husband's stuff and I found it. So, but that was after I panicked and went and bought all new hooks and yarn and everything. So now I have these hooks that are kind of, I would say they're kind of ergonomic. They're ergonomic, I can't speak. They're kind of squishy. So, but I don't think they have a name brand. They were so cheap. Like the whole set was really cheap. I think I have a picture of it. I'll put it on this video if I find the picture. Okay, so it kind of feels like the same size as the double strand that I was using before. So I think it's gonna work out, which is interesting because they're technically the same size yarn. Okay, this feels longer. Does that feel longer? That feels longer to me. They tend to stretch out sometimes when you do that next row. Yeah, look at how much that stretched out, like a whole inch. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring it down a little bit. So instead of doing 10 starter stitches for this part, I'm gonna go just like I did with this one, I'm gonna go down to 8. And then up here, I'm gonna go down to 4 on top. So that's gonna give us 12 plus 21, which is, somebody do math for me, 33 stitches. So I'm really only taking down 3 stitches on this. So I'm gonna do that real quick. Sometimes you just have to kind of play with it until you figure it out, but that's gonna be about right? 3 stitches, it takes it down an inch. And then that should make it about the same size as all the other ones, and then they can be interchangeable. And then if everybody wants to trade colors, you know, when you're making something for a Christmas present, you're not sure if it's exactly right, but I'm gonna give everybody the option to trade just if they want to. So I'm gonna fix this, and then I'll come back and I'll show you the main stitch, and then I'm gonna let you, well, I'm gonna show you just one section of this, right? And then I'm gonna just let you go until it's the length you want it to be, and then I'll show you how to finish it. It's gonna be a super easy video, hopefully. Okay, so I'll fix this, I'll be right back. It's still a little bit over 11, but I don't think it's gonna matter that much, so I'm just gonna continue on. So you're just gonna, when you get to the end of this row, which is your first row, you're gonna chain up 1, and then you're gonna turn, and then we're gonna do, in the back, we're gonna do our first bobble row. So in the back stitch, or the back loop of the stitch, which is right here, you're going to go ahead and do a single crochet, and you're going to do that for 7 stitches. Okay, so then on the 8th stitch, right, I did that right, 33, 21, 7, oh no, sorry, 8 stitches. So I'll do the 8th stitch, doing math in my head. Okay, so now on the 9th stitch, you're gonna do a double crochet into the back loop still. Okay, so now on this stitch, we're gonna do, this isn't really, I guess it is the stitch. We're gonna make this double crochet into a bead stitch. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap it once, go under this is the post. You're gonna go under the post, pick up a loop, wrap it, under the post, pick up a loop, wrap it, under the post, pick up a loop. So that's 3 times. So you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 loops on the stitch, or 7 loops on the hook. And then you're gonna wrap it and go through all 7. Sometimes, well, it's going to be easier with this yarn because I don't have 2 strands going. If you have 2 strands going, sometimes you got to kind of take your time. And that's what makes this slower than the 1 hour beanie, because you kind of have to go through each little loop and make sure you don't leave one behind. So I did that. Now we're going to skip this stitch, and then we're going to go single crochet into this one. And that's going to kind of squish that little bead stitch down, back kind of down to that. And the bead is actually on the back. Does that make sense? So the fluffy part is on the back. This is the, or sorry, this is the front. This is the back. It'll all make sense when we've done a few rows, because I'll show you the difference. Okay, so then just continue doing that bead stitch for the next six more stitches, 7 beads total. So double crochet, 1, 2, okay. Then do your bead, so it's 1, 2, 3, like that, and then wrap it and go through all those stitches. Try not to leave any behind or get any snags in there. And then you're going to skip the next stitch and then go in, or the next, yeah, you're going to skip the next stitch and then single crochet into that one. And you're going to continue doing that until you have 7 beads. Or if you're doing like a baby hat, maybe you're doing less, but the number of beads that you want. See how I kind of jumped out halfway through there because I was afraid I was going to lose a stitch. So you can jump out anytime and then jump back in. Okay, skip that one, single crochet. Be sure to kind of pull the stitch tight so it kind of squishes the bobble down. Okay, so that should be the final bead. Just count, make sure we got it, 7 across. So now we're going to do the last stitches in single crochet. There should be 4. Still in the back loop, always in the back loop from now on. And remember, you can size this just by, taking off some stitches over here, taking them off over here, maybe taking out 1 bead. 1 bead is worth 3 stitches. So, you can kind of size it however you want as far as height goes. Okay, so now that we finished that row, we're going to do 3 rows of just regular single crochet in the back loop. And I'll show you, let me show you the inside of one of these. You're going to end up on the back side, it's going to look like this. So you're going to have a row of beads, and then you're going to have 2 ribs, and then a row of beads, and then 2 ribs. That's what we're shooting for. And that's when you know it's time to switch back to your bead stitch. Where was I? Okay, so you chained up 1, so you're going to go ahead and just do single crochet in the back loop of all of this. This part flies. Especially since I'm only doing 1 strand on this one, it's going to go faster. There are 2 stitches in the top of each bead and then 1 sort of in between. So you just remember you're doing 3 stitches for each bead. That way you don't lose stitches and get all frustrated. 1, 2, and the third one is this kind of in-between loop. 3. 1, 2, and 3. Oops. 3. Okay, a great way to be able to tell where you're at is that on the 7-stitch side, that's the brim, and on the 4-stitch side, so that's the 8-stitch side is the rim, and then this is the 4-stitch side, that's the top. This is one full section, right? So, and this is the front. So now we're going to go up to the top, just back row or back loop only, single crochet, and then back down, back loop only, single crochet, and then we're going to do another row of beads. So I guess technically each section, no, yep, that's it. So you're just going to do a row of a rib in between each bead. So it's going to look like this on the front, one rib, one set of beads, but on the inside it's 2 ribs, one set of beads. Does that make sense? So this is the back, front. That's how you can tell. Okay, so we're going to do 2 more rows of just single crochet. So I'll let you in on a little secret. All of my videos are filmed upside down. Some of you may already know that. I think a few of you do. So that's why the angle's kind of odd sometimes, but I feel like that's the best way to see the stitch. Otherwise I have a camera over my shoulder and it's at a weird angle. So so I keep having to remind, I haven't filmed for a long time, so I keep having to remind myself that the camera is there, not over here by me. So I have to kind of push out. So if you don't get the best view, just know I'm a little rusty and I'm doing my best. I will catch up. And then what I do when I edit them is I flip them all back to right side up. Every single clip. You get the lovely sound of wind chimes and ducks and possibly a train in the background. I'm filming this in the back bedroom of the house, and it's the one that has the perfect view of the backyard and all the light, which is nice. She picked a good room to do this. It's probably the brightest room in the whole house. But it's also where all the ducks are and everything, so you might hear some duck quacking and some wind chimes and definitely a train now and then. If you're a bird watcher, I just uploaded a video of our new bird area for the whole month of November, and that's on Cooper Life Outside as well. We're obviously not niching that channel. It's gonna have just a little bit of everything from our retirement on there, but it's like almost 2 hours long, just birds and squirrels and a possum and some other creature we couldn't identify that was on the fence. But so it's fun if you like to just have the sound of birds in the background or the occasional train, squirrels stealing nuts, that sort of thing. This channel, hopefully, I mean, I'm hoping to maybe expand into, I'm starting a journey into macrame, because I only made like 3 macrame ornaments that were super fun. I did like a 1-minute video about it on this channel, but there's a whole world there that I kind of want to explore, and so I may get into that. I may do some videos for macrame. And I kind of like to get back into knitting a little bit too. So maybe we'll just be all fiber arts on this channel, and the other channel will be all travel and retirement and animals apparently. There's my next video I'm going to upload over on the other channel is probably going to be all ducks. Okay, so we have, this counts as one rib, that's the beginning, our row of beads, and then one rib. So now it's time to switch back to the beads. But if you look on the back, there is a set of beads and 2 ribs. So that's how you know. So we're gonna do another row of beads, and then I'm just gonna let you go and just kind of continue doing it until it's as long as you want. I shoot for 18 inches, which is for an adult head, which is about, I think on this one, it turned out to be like 14 bobble rows. And I think the first one was 15 because the yarn was so much smaller. I still don't know why that was, but so, you know, whatever gets you to 18. What you're going to do is you're going to get to the bobble rows, or to the end of the bobble row, and then come back to the video, and I will show you how to connect it together so that you have a pretty invisible seam. So that's what I'm always shooting for. I'm trying to find, if I can't find the seam, I did my job, right? But I can find the seam on these thicker ones because I did them differently, and now I know better. So here's the seam on the thicker ones. You can, I know it's there because it just feels thicker, but probably from the camera you can't really see. And I don't think anybody's gonna look that closely. But on the smaller, shinier ones, you can't really see it that much. So, and I did it differently. So now I'm gonna show you how to do it so that you don't have a seam showing on the outside. It might show a little bit on the inside, but anyway, okay, so continue on with your bobbles. You're gonna go, well, you'll know based on how you sized yours, but I'm gonna go 8 stitches in, 7 bobbles, and then 4 stitches out. And then I'm gonna do another set of 3 rows of just single crochet in the back loop. Just continue doing that until I'll catch up, or I'm gonna check in with you after about like 10 sections so that you can see what it looks like. Okay, so I didn't get very far because there was one thing that I wanted to show you. So I did my 8 stitches. So we chained up 1, and then we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 stitches. And then you're gonna do your 9th stitch, and this is where you're gonna do your double crochet, but it's gonna feel weird because your bobble's over here and you want them to line up. Just know that that's normal, okay? So you got a bobble here. Your double crochet is gonna be the stitch that's like before the bobble, okay? So double crochet here. It felt really weird to me, but it ends up working out, okay? And then you're gonna do your bead stitch, 1, 2, 3, okay, and then you're going to pull it through all of those, and then you're going to skip 1 and you're going to single crochet into the back loop of the next one and see how they just line up. So I just wanted to show you that so that you didn't think you were doing it wrong. You were doing it right. This is how it goes, and just know that it's always going to look like it's too soon, but it'll be right. Okay, continue on. I wanted to show you kind of where I was at, but also what I think is really funny is when I started, remember I changed the stitches so that it would be about 11, and it turned out to be 11 and a half, and I was like, oh, I think I'll go with it because these other ones worked out okay. And then now that I've actually done a few rows, it's almost exactly 11. So that was the goal. It's funny how, you know, most of the time I'm just winging it, guys. I'm not that professional, so you can wing it too. That's just kind of how it works out. So I wanted to show you what it looked like on the front with 3 sections done, what it looks like on the back. See how you have the 2 sections of ribs in between the bobble stitch rows, and then kind of show you too that it's going to work out to be about the same, almost exactly the same as the last one. So, and we're going to pull them all together at the top when we're done. It'll be so easy, guys. This will be one of your, for me, this is my favorite hat so far that I make, and I've made quite a few. So hopefully you will like it as much as I do. So go ahead and continue on until you're at about 18 inches, and then we will meet and see where we're at. Just checking in here. Looks like this is about halfway. It's 7 bobble rows, and usually, and I did 14 on this one, but it kind of looks like it's going to be not quite as wide as this one, probably because I'm doing single strand instead of double. So I'm probably going to go out to it. We're going to see what 15 rows looks like, but I just wanted to show you what it looks like halfway through so that you are on the same page with me. This is it. Isn't it cool? I tell you what, one strand goes a lot faster than if you're doing double strands, it takes longer. But yeah, you can probably make one a day if you wanted to. Maybe 2 a day if you're like, you know, sitting at home doing nothing. So anyway, this is the back or the inside. This is the 2 rib rows with 1 bead row. And on the front or the outside is 1 bead row, 1 rib row. Every other row is a bead row. Every other row is a rib row. So it's going to be fun. So I'm going to go ahead and take a little break and go off and do some other things. So I will catch up with you when I get to the end of my 18 inches, and we'll see how many bobble rows. I'm thinking it'll be probably 15, maybe 16. We'll see how it goes, but I'll see you then. Okay guys, we have reached 18 inches. Actually, it was shorter. It was like at 17, and I'm like, I don't know, I feel like it's gonna get too big. And then I wrapped it around my head, and then lo and behold, it's 18. So it stretches. So maybe wrap it around your head, try it on, and see if it's gonna fit, and then measure it again, because apparently it stretches. So, and this is one of the reasons I was going to do it shorter was because this, look at how much that stretches. So you don't want to stretch too much, otherwise it'll be holes and stuff, but you definitely don't want it to be too tight. So, or too big, because then it just kind of flops around on your head. So, you know, put it up to your head and see if it works. Okay, so we're down to the last stitch, or the last row. So I just finished a bobble row. So we're gonna do 1 row on top of that, because as you know, we started off with a row here, right, on this side. We're gonna end with a row here, and then we're gonna do the rib in between. So it's gonna be, so we're basically, that row's done right there. That row's going to be done over here, and then we're going to join it with the rib. Okay. So, and if all goes well, I've made this hat, this is what, 6 times now, 5 times. And, I feel like I do it differently every time. So, but I just finished the other one, so I have it, you know, strong in my memory. So we're going to go for it. So we're going to just do 1 row like we did before of just, single crochet in the back loop only. It's been 24 hours since I left you because I got busy working on organizing my yarn. So all of my yarn that I have, which is a lot, has been in storage, has been in bins since we moved in October of last year. So it's all been sitting in bins. So what ends up happening is every time I want to do a project, even though I know I have the yarn, I end up going and buying more because it's just a pain to dig through all those bins and kind of make a mess of everything. So I just unpacked all of my yarn. I'm so excited. And I have it all organized in the closet. We added a closet to this bedroom. Like I said, this house is 100 years old. So most of these bedrooms have teeny tiny closets, if they have closets at all. And we added a whole wall of, like, I'm not sure you would call it a closet, like shelving that's inside the wall. And that's what I'm going to use for all the yarn and all of our craft supplies and stuff. So I'm trying not to like encroach on my daughter's workspace, but her craft materials don't take up as much space as mine. So we're kind of sharing it. It's going to be that's just a perfect craft room. I'm so excited. But okay, so now this is the big moment, and this is where it kind of, you have to kind of maneuver it a little bit. So this right here, normally you would, you know, chain up 1, turn and go the other way, which would put you on the back side. But we want to be on the front side because we want the rib to be on the front. So you're going to pull it this way instead. This right here is, we went through both stitches, so we don't have, all we have on this side is just this one, the bottom of the original chain. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through the bottom of the original chain, and then we're going to go through the back loop of the first stitch right here. So this first loop is going to go into the back or the inside of the hat, and it's going to create that small rib in there. okay? We're creating a small rib on top up here. So we're gonna go into the back loop, kind of pull everything tight, and then you're gonna yarn over and go through both of those, and then you're gonna single crochet. And when it made it too thick before, which makes no sense to my brain, was I pulled it through and I just did a slip stitch, but what ended up happening is it made it really wide on this side. So having the single crochet be up on top, it just works better as a rib. It's harder to see it. So we're gonna go into the next stitch and go through the back loop only, single crochet. Okay, so through that bottom loop, through the next stitch, back loop only, and then single crochet. Make sure you don't skip any. This worked out so well because you know what? Want to see how much yarn I have left? This is all I have left of that one skein. I actually bought 2 skeins because I didn't know how long it was going to take or if I was going to double, but it's going to work out perfectly. And then I have leftover vol orange for another project. Plus orange is like my favorite color, so it works out. Okay, so so what that ends up doing is it creates that ridge right there. Oh, did I go? I'm crooked. I might have to redo that because that's crooked. You don't want that. But it creates this ridge and goes up there, and then on the inside, it creates the same sort of indent on the inside that you have in all the other ones. So I'm gonna go back and redo this so this lines up better, but that's the whole concept. I don't know how I got off there. Okay, so we chained up 1. I'm gonna go through this one. I mean, we could go into the next one over if that makes it more even on the bottom. Oh, I think I went into the chain. That's probably what I did. Okay. Pull it up tight so that you know that it lines up. Pull it through. There, that lines up much better. Okay, so go ahead and meet me at the end of this row and we will sew it together and finish it. Okay, so if you see this, where this is longer than this, just count the stitches and that'll make you feel better because this is just looser and this is tighter, but it's the same amount of stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stitches. There might be a 7th one there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7. So it should work out. I know it kind of gives you a moment of panic, but if you just count the stitches, you'll be fine. Because that looks like a big difference. So technically that's the last stitch, but in order to make this nice and like not bumpy on the end here, I'm gonna go ahead and stitch like the knot and the end of that together just so that it all matches better. Okay, so it should look like that. And then the more it's worn and the more you pull it apart, the more it blends. And then if you look on the inside, you can't tell. Okay. now we're going to sew the top together and then weave in our ends, and then we'll be all done. So I would say go ahead, and you're at the top right now. This is where the short side of the ribbing is, the long side's down here. So you can just go ahead and knot it and then leave a long tail, and then we'll go ahead and use that to sew it all together. Doesn't have to be that long. If you want, you can sew your ends in first. I got lucky on this one. These ones have a lot of knots in the yarn, so I had to like cut and restart a lot of times, but this one I just have this one end right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this one. Also, it's nice to just be working with one strand. The rest of these were all two. Okay, so when I weave in my ends, I take this opportunity to kind of tighten things up so it looks nice too. So we're gonna go through here, and then we'll go ahead and go back and then go underneath all of these little stitches right here. You don't have to go very far. Don't pull it tight, otherwise you'll have an indent. And then you're gonna skip over one of those stitches or grab one from down below, which I kind of like to do so that you can't see where it is. And that's just to keep the yarn from working itself back out, and then go back the way you came. And then that'll keep it. You know how sometimes you get those little yarns that stick out after you've used it for a while? I have a blanket that drives me crazy. When you use the back and forth method, that doesn't happen. To go in and reweave in all those ends on that blanket. Okay, so that is the ends on that one. See, it's already kind of starting to blend in. So then I'm gonna go ahead and all we're gonna do is, so now this one isn't as thick as these ones because this is only one strand. So you don't have to worry as much about it getting too bulky up here, but look at how bulky that is. Like, I like it because it gives it structure. So like, even if you wanted to wear like your hair in a little bun up there and you could put the beanie over the top, it would look good because it has structure. It's gonna be up there anyway, like sticking up. So anyway, but with this one, it's a little bit thinner and my husband's not gonna be wearing a bun. So I'm gonna go through, on this one, I would just go through each of the main ribs and skip everything else, but I might go through like the one before it. Just know that it's gonna be pulled tight, so you don't have to go through every single, in fact, it's better if you don't go through every single stitch, just go through like the ribbed edges up here that you're gonna pull together. Okay, now you're just gonna pull it tight. Not too tight, you don't wanna break the yarn. There might be a hole in the middle, and we're gonna fix that. It's actually more than likely there's gonna be a hole in the middle because that's more stitches than a circle should have. So we're just gonna, when it comes to that part, I'm gonna go ahead and stick this through the middle, and we're gonna go move to the inside of the hat. So just pull that through. So see the hole right there? We're gonna sew it together, kind of straight across the top. So it doesn't have to be a circle. Okay, so make sure there's no hole anymore up there, and then you're going to just make a small knot. Sorry, that lamp keeps getting in my way. And then we're going to just weave our ends in and be done. So same, just pick a row that's closest to you. always go through the two loops on the bottom of the single crochets just because they cover more space. And then you don't have any see-throughs, but you know, this is all the same color, so you're not gonna really see it that much anyway. Okay, don't pull it too tight because you don't want it to gather. Grab an underneath stitch somewhere that's gonna keep it from going back. And then go back through those same stitches that you came through. There you go. Ta-da! Okay, hat number 5, all done. Okay, so I will take some pictures with these on and I'm gonna put it at the end screen. I hope you all have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And I hope that we will see each other a lot in the coming year as I travel and learn how to crochet while I'm traveling. Thanks for watching. Bye.